G'day, HM Hart here. In this video, I want to talk a little bit about what's happening for people given the situation in the world right now, social distancing, self-isolation, people who are the exes of those with BPD, or maybe you're an ex of a narcissist. Maybe you have a parent who's a borderline or a narcissist or comorbidity both, or a family member, or maybe you've gone no contact, maybe not entirely no contact, maybe you've been involved in reverse hoovering, maybe you've been involved in stealth reverse hoovering, looking at their social media, etc. A time when I think a lot of people are definitely using the internet more and various areas of it and social media, etc. So the difficulty for many who are exes of narcissists or borderlines is this, more so people I think that are the ex of people with BPD, unless you've gone no contact with a narcissistic parent, etc., or some other relationship type. The struggle is really how to maintain no contact, how to not respond to hoovers, and how to not be the one that starts what I call the reverse hoover. Because people are, after these relationships, especially with people with BPD, many people still have empathy, compassion, maybe sometimes it's pity, but they still really care about the person that they loved or may still love, but know that the relationship can't work out. And it's really hard because, and I've had so many clients mentioning this also in the last couple of weeks in particular, but even prior, and of course more lately, the fact that, you know who this person is, right? Who your ex is, you know what they're like, you know what they struggle with, or maybe you've educated yourself a lot more now, so you understand a lot more, and you feel for them. And or I've had clients say to me, but I just know, like I have a BPDX, I just know she's not okay. I don't know how she's going to manage with this. She's no good being alone, or she's lost her job, or she's going to lose her job, or she won't be able to pay her rent, or he, or, whatever. I hear more about she's because I talk to more men. But the thing is, so these are really, they're troubling times in our world. They're testing times for so many people who are out of these relationships now, maintaining some kind of no contact, or maybe on and off again contact, which is not highly recommended, which many people know why, but it's very difficult, okay? So there's emotional dissonance, cognitive dissonance, feeling bad for them, feeling bad about yourself because they might be trying to hoover you, or you might have already let them, responded to their hoover, and they're really not able to take care of themselves right now, emotionally or financially, or just who knows what's happening for them, because we're all under more stress than normal, and those of us that can cope with it, we're coping with it, but there's many people who can't. So what do you do when you feel? Here's a key thing that I think a lot of people feel without realizing it. You're feeling for your BPDX, or parent, or narcissistic parent, or whatever the relationship type, or whether it's a narcissist or ex with BPD, or a family member you've gone no contact with, etc. And you really feel for them. And you care still, even if you're mad or whatever the case may be. And you've been really hurt, devastated. Well, then what happens for people often, right, whether you identify with the empath label or not, codependency there. And what's happening is that you feel bad about you, whether you're aware of this part or not. You feel bad about you if you don't do X, Y, Z for the person that is your ex, or whoever the person in your life that's an ex, whether narcissist or person with BPD is, right? Because it's not always a significant other. It's often a family member or a parent, or different relationship types, or maybe it's parents of adult children who have narcissistic personality or borderline personality, And what do? And maybe they have a child too. And if you were the significant other and you're the ex, well, you care about what's going to happen to the child, and whether she can't pay the rent, whether she doesn't have a job. You might be under financial stress yourself right now. You may have more means or not. But the thing is, this is the dilemma of this time. It's been a dilemma for people over time and throughout time. But it is a bigger dilemma now. Because, I just did a video, which I guess this will probably be up before it. But wherein there's a lot of people who are in self-isolation, still in relationships with narcissists or people with BPD who are untreated. I was making a distinction in the video. Untreated, unaware, no skills, no coping ability, and they're going to dump it all on you, and you're going to get more stressed out. And if that's where your ex is, or if it's a narcissist ex, or family member, or whatever the relationship type, and you went no contact, or mostly no contact, as many people say, but leaving some avenue of contact open, then what you really need to grapple with first, understand and become more aware of first, is how you're going to feel about yourself because of your past, right? How you're going to feel like you're the bad guy, or you're a crummy person, or how could you be so mean if you choose to stay no contact or stop any contact that's resumed recently because you know it's not in your best interest and you are again trying to rescue. Overextend, overgive, self-abandoning yourself at a time when we all need ourselves very much and our coping abilities and our resiliency if we have that, right? So it's really important that you think about yourself, and then when you get to that place where you feel, or maybe you're not aware, so think about this, that if you don't reach out, if you don't somehow rescue, help, or God forbid, bring that ex back into your own living circumstances, don't do that. You're going to feel bad if you don't do something. So the first thing you have to deal with is, what are you feeling? And why are you feeling like you're a bad person? Because you just want to take care of yourself, and you've already been hurt and or shattered by this ex, be it a narcissist or a borderline or whomever. So many people are abandoning stuff like that, even in the contact phase, or they want to throw money at the person to help them with this, that, or the other. And it's not your responsibility, and it's not going to help them out. And there are things out there now, depends where you live, but in the country where I live, or the province I live in rather, I should say, because it's different in each little province, then, not little, but anyway, the point is, you have to take care of yourself. Now, if you have a child with an ex, it's way more complicated. But then even that contact should be only about, or going through a third party, depending on your situation, and only about the child, not about the ex. So, the reasons why you're an ex, or the reasons why you went no contact, or mostly no contact from a borderline comorbid narcissistic parent, family member, sibling, cousin, partner, ex-partner, you have to remember those reasons. Journal it down, write it down right now if you're struggling with this. Because so many people are struggling. I've got more clients recently. I'm willing to work on a sliding scale fee with more of you if you would be a new client, new to wanting to talk to me in a situation where you're having a lot of difficulty with fear, obligation, and guilt and more, and feeling like you're a bad person if you don't do ABCD for the ex with BPD, or the ex-narc, or mother with, or whoever the person is that you've been trying to be or have been no contact with, and either you reversed hoovered or they've hoovered you, and now there's been contact again, and just more. It's so compelling, isn't it? When you still care about somebody who can't really take care of themselves, or who isn't really doing well, or not suited to being able to deal with the emotions of the times that we're going through right now to cope. But just know You can't change that for them. So why self-abandon yourself? It's really important not to do that. And are you feeling like if you don't help the borderline X or the narc X or the narc mother or the narc sibling or the borderline sibling or mother or whomever, are you feeling like that makes you a bad person, an uncaring person, or you're too much of an empath for that, or your codependency is rampant, whatever? The point is, you need to first work on that. You need to pause and stop and know that you can't rescue someone else, and you can't loan money or help because you're never going to get it back, and you're never going to have enough money to give them as the longer this goes on. And there are certain, at least where I live, there are places where people can go to get help. And if you're a guy going through this with an ex with BPD or a narcissistic mother that you're trying to stay no contact with, said, women especially do have options, okay? Even under these circumstances in the world, there are shelters. There are many more resources for women who, might have BPD or might be a narcissist but can't cope and might need help, but they don't need your rescue because you can't do it now any more than you could do it before. So these are times to really look at what you're feeling about, why are you taking letting them hoover you and being in contact again, or why are you reverse hoovering them? Because this is something that you need to address and you need to help yourself with, and you need to get into recovery about for yourself. And I don't mean to sound hard and cold or unempathic to people who are struggling and having a lot of difficulty, but that is not your responsibility. You're struggling, you may be struggling, and having your own difficulty with wanting to rescue someone due to the circumstances right now, and feeling like you have to do it, maybe subconsciously not realizing, so I hope this might give you food for thought, that if you don't do it, you're going to feel like a bad person. That's not a reason to do anything. You need to work out, why are you going to feel like a bad person? Or why are you stuck in the fear, obligation, and guilt? Because this is something that is not your responsibility. What your responsibility is right now is to take care of yourself, is to be able to, stop abandoning yourself for that ex or for that parent or for that whoever that borderline or narcissist is in your life, or was, or ex or whatever, or a sibling that can't manage their own lives, that may be in financial difficulty now as well, but you can't rescue them. You can't help them because it's taking for most of us today varying degrees of incredible resilience, coping ability, and facing our feelings. And I wonder if a lot of you out there with codependency are having difficulty facing your own feelings. And I say that with empathy, because a lot of people with codependency or who identify as empaths think that they can't possibly not respond to somebody in need, no matter how much it hurts yourself. And these are times where we all need to be boostering or certainly not diminishing our immune systems with stress, with fear, in general about what's going on in the world, but in trying to take on the battles and the struggles of people who are your ex with BPD or a narcissistic ex or a narcissistic or comorbid borderline parent that you were kind of no contact from or staying away from. People are stuck in self-isolation still, who can't get out for different and physical disability circumstances, away from family of origin that's dysfunctional, narcissistically dysfunctional, maybe people with BPD in the family, narcissists in the family. You need to take care of yourself. You need to find a way to have a boundary if you're in that situation with your family. But if you're in this situation of recontact, whether you did it or they did it, with an ex or a family member who's a narcissist or a borderline, a sibling, a parent, whatever the case, try to be mindful. If you haven't been aware, try to now gain awareness about how you likely feel for them, yes, have empathy for them, maybe pity, maybe compassion, but you want to try to rescue again, which goes against everything you already know, because you probably know you can't do that. You've already been there, done that, tried that. You can't reconcile, you can't get resolution, you can't create any change with a narcissistic parent or a borderline or narcissistic sibling or an ex. So please look at whether or not you think that you might be doing this, because you'll feel bad if you don't. And then a lot of people think, and they go over their boundaries and they abandon themselves with a kind of thinking that goes like, yeah, but I have a lot of money, or I have, and I could help. That doesn't mean that that's the best thing for you or for the ex. Anyway, I think I've kind of hit the basic points I wanted to here. So I hope that gives you food for thought, and I hope you're looking after yourself, and it's not selfish. Yes, it's a time for kindness, but not when it involves somebody that you've been no contact with, or you need to stay no contact with, and maybe, there's been recontact. You need to get back into the no contact, and you need to take care of yourself. Don't forget, stress and fear and taking on somebody else's stress and fear are all going to suppress your immune system. You need to be taking care of yourself, and you can't rescue these people that have been in your life that you've gone no contact from, or they ghosted you, or whatever the case. If they come back all in this needy place, you don't have any obligation. Your first obligation is to take care of yourself, and that's not selfish. And yes, in this world today, I advocate, as the shirt says, scatter kindness, but not in the face of somebody who's going to only punish and hurt you more for your kindness. Because you might know from a relationship, or whatever the relationship type, with a borderline or a narcissist, that definitely whatever you do that's good and kind and scattering kindness, in their world, they don't even take it in, and they don't appreciate it. People with BPD can't take it in. They're going to punish you for it. Narcissists don't give a crap. They'll just, take advantage and use and still hurt you and punish you too. So think about that, and know that you deserve to be taking the best care of yourself you can, and that even a world crisis is not a time for recontacting people that have already shattered, hurt you, and treated you miserably and poorly, and do not respect you, were never attached to you, and cannot love you. You need to keep yourself safe from not only getting sick and the virus out there, but you need to keep yourself safe from the very people that there's been some limited to no contact with for a reason. Remember the reasons. Write out the pros and cons list again if you have to remind yourself. But take care, and I hope this helps. Please leave comments below. You might disagree with me. You might be, but I have to do this, etc. Well, share below, and let's talk about it. Because I'm advocating that people can't rescue people with BPD, exes, or narcissistic parents, or relatives, or siblings of BPD or NPD anymore right now than you could before, and in all your other attempts that you tried. So do your own self-inventory today if you haven't already. Why would you feel like the bad person or the bad guy if you don't get right back into the fire? It's not a place you want to go. Take care of you today. You deserve it. And you're not responsible for anyone else unless it's a child. You're not responsible for anyone else. You want to scatter kindness in this world. You want to give to a charity if you're able to economically right now, then do that. But don't go back over old ground that's scorched and damaged you and that you haven't healed from yet, because you're afraid that you might be a bad person, which is not true. If you don't, take care.